And there she
Hi.
is. I am so happy to meet you today, Roshni. I cannot even begin to tell you. And I want to, at the outset, thank you so much for accepting to be a part of Teach for Outreach for the Rakshan Project by Sakshi. Thank you.
Of course, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So I have, so I have to tell you, I've had some like really mixed responses to you to begin with, like in keeping with the white hair that I have over here, um, undyed white hair over here.
You're
But
lucky. I have to pay a lot to get this white hair.
I must tell you, so Rashni, I have to begin, and I was confessing this in the morning to somebody, and I was saying, you know what, I've really had this really mixed response to Roshni. I said, why should I be talking to Roshni? I mean, she's not my generation. I don't talk her language, and I don't know if I can relate to who she is, with her hair and the kind of. Uh, and then I saw the video that Sakshi made for you. Okay,
Yeah,
and that was my introduction to you. And when
yeah.
that video played, I started crying
Oh,
in just the juxtaposition of five of your images together. Everything made so much sense, and I ended up writing the poetry that I wrote, and that's my tribute to you,
thank
for
you.
this
Thank you so
absolute
much.
brave woman, this wonderful woman that you are, and for this beautiful, wonderful way in which you are celebrating life. All
Thank you.
my admiration to you.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet.
So let's jump right into it, right? I've been
Yes.
told I have only about 15 minutes, so let me not take up too much of this time. So you have called yourself, I must read this out, you called yourself positive, strong, semi-confident, colorful, bold, somewhat fearless, crazy person, right? Now that's a
Yes.
lot of lovely adjectives, and I wish I could give half of them to myself. But if you were to give yourself three more words which capture your essence, which are not in these words, what would be those
Oh,
three words that you would choose? Yeah, I know.
did I use badass?
No, I like it. Go on.
Did I use unicorn? Because I consider myself a unicorn.
Lovely, lovely. And what else?
And I'm an empath, so I would say empath.
Oh, right. So why would you give yourself these three words?
Because like every time someone asks me to describe myself, that's my main issue, because there's so many things that make me that I find it so hard to describe it in like a few words. So this is everything, and the description that even you had, I feel like I missed out on a lot of words, but whatever could come to my head then is what I gave. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's like 20 different things that make me, and I'm very proud of all of them. So it's just I have to remember them at all times.
But why badass? I want to really understand badass. I want to
I
get some
mean,
stories there.
societally badass, because what I come off as is that, I'm this badass person who likes living on her own terms. So I don't consider that badass. I consider that what everyone should be doing. You should
Absolutely.
all be living on your own terms. And if you see it from, I guess, like a societal point of view, not conforming to society is sort of being badass. So in
Nice.
that way, people see me as badass, so I go with it because it's not a bad thing.
Lovely. I love that. And unicorn? Why unicorn?
Oh, because I find like obviously because I have multiple hair colors all the time, but I also find unicorn this mystical being that is very different from everyone and you can't relate. And I've always sort of felt like that myself. So just like many other unicorns that exist. So, we just call ourselves unicorns because we can't relate to humanity.
I love that. I love every single thing that you're saying. I'm loving it. Um, are these the three words that you would have given yourself when you were in grade eight?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I was an empath, but I didn't know I didn't know what empathy was at that point. Definitely not any of the rest, because I was severely suffering from body image issues. I had very low self-esteem, very low self-worth. just, I was at my, I just did not like who I was. I thought I was not meant to be around in this, this world, because I'm so different, because people have told me that I don't look like this, I don't talk a certain way, blah, 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 blah. So, and of course, like, I'm not conforming to standards that are out there. So, I definitely a big no.
So that's been quite a journey, right?
Yeah, I would
From
have never
there,
imagined it.
from there to now, and you have spoken. I mean, I read your piece when you spoke about that entire journey and how you have been through cancer. This whole,
Yeah.
I would say, the love story with cancer, so to speak. The way
Yes.
you describe it, it's
Yes.
amazing,
Yes.
absolutely amazing. And I just love the way you wrote about getting the same room in that hospital.
Yeah. It was my home, right? So I needed
Yeah,
my comfort. They made sure
yeah.
that it was like my home, and that's what I appreciated throughout. They made it, made me feel like I was at home somewhere.
And what was just so fascinating for me was about how you spoke that you were stark and honest and vulnerable.
Yeah.
And you made no bones about showing that you did feel powerless and that you were feeling the pain of it. And the rawness of that whole journey is so there for everybody to read about, that it's not been easy
Yeah.
to reach where
Yeah.
you are today. And that's why every single moment and every single hair color of yours, more power to you. But if
Thank
you were
you.
to share just one learning from that time, biggest learning that you've had in this journey, when you look at in hindsight, what
Yeah.
would you say is that learning that you have from this time?
I think the biggest is that we don't realize how much strength all of us actually have in us. We all think, of course, we're powerless in a greater sense, and there are many things that can happen to you, and that's life, yeah. But all of us have so much power in us and so much strength in us that we don't know, and we sort of wait till, something bad happens to realize that. I would like people to realize that before, because I didn't know that before. And when I was, on the bed for 6 months, I realized how strong I was. And, I told myself that I'm 100% going to get out of here and make sure that, I live my life on my own terms, because, I can't be afraid anymore. I can't hide everything anymore. And of course, it took a long while to get where I am today. But I think realizing that, you know, every one of us has this abundance of strength and power inside us, and we don't realize it until something bad happens. And I don't want people to wait till something bad happens.
Brilliant, brilliant. So is that how this life experience is translated into the work that you do? Like, is this the journey? Is this what you're
Yeah.
trying to make
Yeah.
people realize their strength before, or not necessarily through a bad experience? I mean, just tell me more. And this is my
Absolutely.
assumption, but what is it that
No,
you would
no,
say?
you're absolutely like 100% on point. I do the activism I'm doing because I know people suffer every single day from these issues, from body image issues, from just wearing clothes they like. They do not get to do that because they are so afraid, and they think someone will say something, they think something will happen. And it's terrifying, because I've been there. I didn't want to wear, I couldn't wear the clothes I wanted to, I couldn't do what I wanted to. I was living in my own kind of jail that I had created for myself because of other things that were around me. But I want people to know that you don't have to go through something bad to realize you can live life on your own terms. You can live life as you wish, and people don't need to understand it. You don't need validation from society or every single person around you. Live life for yourself, and also loving yourself. We're always taught to find love and get a partner, get married, have children. Nowhere in that ideology has society ever said, maybe look in the mirror and like what you're looking at. Maybe actually love this body that you've been given, or maybe love yourself and see the courage and strength that you have. And I realized all this through my cancer when I was lying literally on the bed. I don't want people to wait till they have reached a point. Like, mine happened suddenly, yes. I was also my mental health was also bad at that time, and I was, mixed with both. But I don't want people to reach a, place where they're like, shit, like, I have to do it now. I want you all to do it anyway, because that's the work I want to do. So I can help people realize that, yeah, it might not happen in 1 day or 2 days, but you can start the process. And it's not that hard, and you don't need to listen to all these stupid rules that our society has put on us.
So, Roshni, I mean, I have a long list of questions over here, but I really want to go back to, was there any moment, I mean, did you always kind of knew when you were there that you are going to emerge out of this? Was there like a
Yeah.
conviction that you had for yourself?
I
What
was
is it that would,
100% sure, because I was really sure. Not everyone around me, including doctors, was sure, because I had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and bone cancer, so it had spread quite a bit. But I was completely sure that I'll be out of this, and I just knew that I'll get out and color my hair. Very excited to get my tattoos and my piercings, and I was just, I don't know, I just knew, I don't know, I guess like an intuition, or, just that this is not, this is not it, there's a lot more. And I just knew, and others weren't as sure as me, so they were obviously very afraid, but I was like, it's okay, I'm going to come out of this and walk out of this and dress up and wear clothes that I actually want to now. Fuck everything.
Lovely. I mean, I do have to mention that I have absolutely simply loved the reel that you made with your Aji and your mother, in which you're
Thank
doing that
you.
saris. It was just fabulous. And I also really loved the one that you did with your mother on communication.
Yeah.
So when did that journey begin? Like, I mean, was it during when you were not well, or was it later? Or how did this communication between the two of you reach the
My
strength that
mom's
you?
listening to us as I speak. No, my mom and I have always been chill. The only thing is she herself has, come from a different generation of a lot of her own conditioning. Then there's generational conditioning. There's been a lot of stereotypes and whatnot that she had to deal with. So there was a huge gap in between wherein we were not able to understand each other. But as I got like into my 20s, 2021, I just don't like hiding, because I'd come out of hiding my personality, myself, and I wanted to reach this place where I really wanted to be this, just embrace every part of me, which includes me being completely myself to my parents as well. So I just told her that, I don't want to keep like, lying to you about things. Yeah, I drink and I do this and I have a boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. So can we just like accept it and maybe just move forward and like discuss it like friends, instead of being afraid of like what will she say or what will she do. It took a while, but we've reached this place now where I can tell her anything and we're just like friends, and she can tell me whatever. And I think open communication is what like really helped. She's also understood a lot of terms like what the work I do, especially she's understood why I do it. She's understood mental health more, everything, so I think just communicating and also understanding that unless you communicate to your parents, they're not able to be able to get this, because their generation is different. They've also had their own conditioning, their own pain, their own trauma. So you have to open that gate if you want it to happen. And I just had to do it because I can't hide myself. It's very hard for me to keep like myself in. I just like, I'll say like, if anyone asks me a question, I will answer it truthfully without me like having to lie about it. It's just the way I am. So I didn't want to keep hiding all these things from my mom, because I was like, yeah, I drink and yeah, I do this, but I would like to tell you and do it, so like we know what each other we're doing in life.
So critically important, because as you know that we're working with the youth, and one of the things that we're really emphasizing is about the ability of the youth, the adolescents, to be able to talk to the elders in the family, whoever is it that they want to trust and build a relationship with. And we call this the difficult conversations, and this is what they find very difficult to do, So anything that today or on the 20th you would like to emphasize and talk about and focus a little bit on communication between two generations, generations, and how do you bridge that gap? Because you
Yeah,
have successfully done it, and that is what we're trying for every home to have, this bridged
yes,
communication, this bridging the gap, so that there is absolutely no place for anything to get hidden in silence or
yeah,
secrecy, or having or have any kind of shame or stigma around it. So that, I
absolutely.
think, is absolutely important for us to talk about today and on the 20th. But I want to go to this
Yes.
thing that you have a venture called Open House.
Yeah, so my best friend and I'm from Bangalore. Before I moved to Bombay, she and I share a lot of same values and principles. Her name is
Hmm.
Tanmay, and she's been my friend, like best friend since I think school,
Hmm.
where we both battled, body image issues, and she's seen me through my cancer and everything, and we're still continuing our journey. So we basically like the arts and the creative field, and we realized that there's no actual platform for it in our like country in general. You have to
Hmm.
just find your own way, and there's so many struggling artists, including us, because at that time we were still struggling. And I think every artist, even now as freelancers, keep struggling.
Struggling.
We wanted to create we wanted to create this platform where it's like a flea market, but it's like all artists showcasing their work and their talents, and you get to interact with them, you get to buy their work. We also give half of the money to charity because we firmly believe in giving back to society, especially to the less fortunate and the less privileged. And we have like music, we have food. It's just a really safe space for people to just be themselves, because
Brilliant.
I don't think we thought that there's very few of them in our society, and we kind of wanted to create that small, safe space once in a while. So we did about 3 4 events, and because of me being in another city and everything, and of course like COVID and whatnot, it's not yet happened, but we do really want to continue this because we've met
I
such amazing artists through it. I've actually made like a very close friend by just meeting her at this open house event. I've met artists who are now in Canada, but now I know so well. So it was such a beautiful community kind of feel, because we believe in art being a community. We
absolutely.
believe in building each other up rather than competition and bringing each other down, and jealousy, none of that. It's a community, we're all in this together, and that's what me and her share as principles. So that's what open house was, and that's why it's called open house, because it is an open house for all.
How lovely is that? So, are you planning to continue this on an online space, or kind of
Yeah,
take
we do
this?
actually. We wanted to try an online space this year itself, but I think we're going to wait for this COVID to like go
Hmm.
a bit. And in 2021, we really want to do something, because I know a lot of artists who have attended also have given such good reviews that it did actually help them collaborate professionally and make money as well, and meet artists and build relationships and collaborate as artists. It's exactly what I would want as an artist as well.
Beautiful, lovely. How lovely. And you also have a yearly photo shoot called Bear. Would you want to?
Yes.
That sounded like really interesting, about celebrating body differences. And so, do you want to
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's like my baby. I love the project because it puts everything I believe in into one. All my principles and all my body positivity, neutrality, queerness, just gender, everything into one. Where we see there are a bunch of different people, and we just celebrate the differences, we celebrate the uniqueness, we celebrate different bodies, just for just honoring the body for what it is. We don't have any sort of biases. It doesn't matter where you are from, who you are, what's your gender, what's your sexuality, nothing matters. And I did the first one with a bunch of people that I kind of knew of or acquainted, but the second and third second one was completely, I had a bunch of strangers from Instagram come and shoot, and we met on the same day, and we were so comfortable and had such a great time. The
Yeah,
shoot is
yeah.
basically to celebrate differences, and like not see flaws as flaws, but just as amazing different things.
Wow, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, Um, so is this a yearly event or is this like
Yeah, it's
something
a
which is,
yearly thing that I do every Jan, and then there's been two, and this year obviously got held up because of the world being on pause. So I
yeah.
plan to do it next year, and I want to include as many people that want to be part of it, not just people I know. So I'm trying to figure a way where I can include a lot of people at once, so we can do this as a real inclusivity, based event, because I firmly believe in inclusivity, not just diversity. You have to be inclusive as a society and include everyone. So I want as many people who are want to be part of it, to have the opportunity to actually be part of it.
What do we look forward to on the workshop for the 20th?
So this workshop, I think, is going to be one of the coolest I've done, because it's kind of combining two things, two different workshops I do into one, and giving a gist of both. So my photography, like when it comes to creativity, I firmly believe in creative professionals having their own style and figuring that
Hmm.
out. That I
Hmm.
figured out through my own ways, which I have done a workshop earlier on just on that. So I'm going to cover that, as well as self-love and body positivity and all of that, taking them through my journey as well. So it's going to go through my journey while I tell them all of this, so it becomes relatable, and it's also like an open, nice interaction. And I would love for people to be as interactive and chatty as possible.
Brilliant, brilliant. I am so excited and I'm so looking forward to that. I could really go on talking to you, Roshni, but I think I've kind of run out of the time I've been allotted. But I do want to pick up this conversation after the 20th once, if you're open to that, and have a really longer interview and get to know you
100%.
much
I'm
better.
always open to it.
Thank you so much, Roshni. So, friends, all of you who are seeing this now and who will see this later, if you haven't registered as yet, please do. I can assure you this workshop with this dynamic, creative, brilliant young person here will be very, very memorable. 20th November, 6 o'clock. Register for free, donate as you like, support the Rakshan Project, and prevent child sexual abuse. How easy can it get? And the link is in
Exactly.
the bio, right? So I
Thank
look
you for
forward to
having
having you.
me.
Thank you, Roshni. Thank you so much for coming today and see you day after.
Yes, see you day after. Bye.